Hello, my name's Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of July 13th for one Muluc or offering in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. We also have Mercury moving into Cancer, Jupiter entering Leo, Venus also moving into Cancer, Saturn turning direct, Uranus turning retrograde, the Sun entering Leo, and Mars moving into Scorpio. July 13th is one Muluc or offering. It carries the themes of water, rain collected in water pots, vessels of gratitude for life, heavy clouds heavy with rain, the sacred jade stones used in rituals and burials, offerings made in ceremony, baptism, and purification, deep undercurrents of emotion, restoring equilibrium, the appreciation for creation, releasing negative patterns, energy, and emotion, and accepting change. The day glyph for offering depicts a fish who represents the Mayan water deity. And one of the things I really love about this connection between fish of offering and all the water energy that we're experiencing. We've got, the Sun and Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn's in Scorpio, Neptune and Chiron's in Pisces during this report period. And then also, we've got Mercury and Venus moving into Cancer and Mars moving into Scorpio. So there's just a lot of water energy to the Muluc Trecena, which is really a 13-day period that's about gratitude for life and cleansing the past for transformation in the present. So before I get into the daily energy for one Muluc or offering, on the 13th, all the planets appear to be moving forward from our vantage point here on the Earth, with the exception of Saturn, Chiron, Neptune, and Pluto, which appear to be moving retrograde or in reverse motion. And Saturn turned retrograde on March 2nd. It turns direct on July 20th. The themes of Saturn and Scorpio are loss, depression, failure, fear, betrayal, all those scorpionic themes included with limitation. And then Saturn retrograde can really be a taskmaster that demands that we take responsibility for those scorpionic themes, such as our motives or ethics or intentions. So basically during this time period, if we're not clear on those things, we may feel like our burden is heavier than what we agreed to carry. Chiron retrograde in Pisces is about releasing stuck emotional energy so that we can return to the natural flow of life. And then Neptune retrograde, it went retrograde June 9th. Neptune's in its own sign of Pisces. It's seeking transcendence through spiritual experiences. And this is really time to use spiritual practices to keep us grounded as we expand our intuition and consciousnesses. This is important energy because of all the Uranus-Pluto squares that we've been experiencing and will be experiencing for yet a whole another year, and that have been affecting us both as a collective and as individuals. And then Pluto represents death, completion. It's in Capricorn. It's about the breakdown of structures, about bringing about transformation. Pluto in Capricorn is determined in exposing the darkness, destroying the old order, so that we can rise up like the phoenix from the ashes and soar again. And Capricorn is about large structures, including banks, governments, corporations, religions. So this is really a time of a cosmic course correction for the entire planet. And then during this Trecena, we have Uranus in Aries, and it's slowing to a stop as it prepares to turn retrograde at 16 degrees, 30 minutes Aries on July 21st. And when a planet is stopped, it's said to be at the peak of its power. So Uranus at the peak of its power during July is seeking to shake our very foundation through the unexpected rebellion of the individual. Obviously, this has been a difficult time of upheaval, destruction, death, unexpected change, natural disasters, violence, and war. Stationed Uranus and Aries will have people wanting to hurry up the process of getting free, to push the river of revolution, whether it's personal or governmental. This impulse may not be in the best interest for those acting on it, because Pluto and Capricorn interacting with these changes and consequences may be long lasting and very difficult to reverse. But some things are really worth pursuing. So I think this is a time of detaching Uranus to act as an unobstructed individual, Aries. And when I think about the day Uranus changed signs, moving from Pisces into Aries on March 11th, 2011, I always remember that was the day of the Japanese earthquake and tsunami that crippled the Fukushima nuclear power plants, which are still unstable and spewing radiation to this day. So, of course, Uranus rules uranium. Uranus in astrology forces us outside of our comfort zone so that we can look at for possibilities outside of the box. This is about unplanned experiences that disrupt our perceived and planned life path in order to move us forward in our spiritual evolution individually and globally. And Uranus spends approximately 7 years in a sign and leaves Aries for Taurus in 2018, but then it retrogrades back into Aries and finally departs for almost 80 years in March of 2019. So these 7-year cycles are about testing us to adapt to a new change. And we're currently experiencing the Aries test. Being an outer planet, Uranus creates events that we need to respond to. The inner planets affect us personally as individuals, but the outer planets change the landscape, which affects us as a collective and as individuals within humanity. Which reminds me of this Krishnamurti quote that I really like: "The only hope for humankind is the transformation of the individual." That's what Uranus and Aries is all about. Uranus creates challenges according to the sign it's in. So we may feel like we're getting the same lesson in a theme over and over and over again. Uranus, being the modern ruling planet of Aquarius, means that fairness is going to be one of these topics, and often these events may seem unfairly set against us. I know that I feel this way with the government and corporations conspiring to poison us with GMO food, starve us through austerity measures, tar and oil and tar sand spills, fracking, chemtrails, geoengineering, man-made massive weather events, while the global elite eat organic food, build underground bunkers, and hoard seeds in Arctic poles. Which brings us to the themes of Aries, the self, the individual, the new beginning. This time particularly impacts people with personal planets in the signs of Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, and of course Aries, as these planets become a doorway to something unexpected yet authentic, which sets the stage for these 7 epic squares between Pluto and Capricorn and Uranus and Aries that we've been discussing since 2012. As individuals, Aries revolting Uranus against the decaying power Pluto structures Capricorn. We can see that this in almost every corner of the earth as individuals and groups protest the oppression of the global elite. And I believe these uprisings will be successful in overthrowing the old regimes and patriarchy, but it's an uphill fight for some time to come. And it's interesting, the last time that there were these Uranus-Pluto squares was from 1932 to 1934. And Uranus was in Aries just as it is now. And as we talked about before in last month, Mercury retrograde cycles repeat every 79 years. So we're currently repeating the 1935 Mercury retrograde cycle, which brings forward similar aspects that we can see being played out in the event field. And this is a time of great upheaval with events such as the Dust Bowl, which was caused by farming practices that stripped the soil, and which, when the weather changed, it just destroyed the landscape. Also, this was a time of the Great Depression with international power struggles, leadership changes, and financial adjustments, such as the New Deal programs under Franklin Delano Roosevelt here in the U.S., and those were from 1933 to 1936. And this was a safety net for the poor and the unemployed, which are the same programs that the U.S. government is currently trying to dismantle, as we can see these themes being played out in many other countries at this time as well. And in thinking of the many environmental events that we're facing, whether they're man-made or natural, I'm reminded that Uranus was one of the original gods of the Greeks. He was a sky god. He was the husband of the earth goddess Gaia. And he was born out of the primordial chaos. And every night he came and covered the Earth and mated with Gaia. Unfortunately, he hated the children she bore him and killed or imprisoned most of them until his son Kronos, or Saturn is what he was renamed to by the Romans, ambushed his father, castrated him, cast the severed testicles into the sea, which then became Aphrodite, or Venus, the goddess of love. After being disposed as the sky no longer covered the earth at night, and instead it held its place above the earth, which I guess was the beginning of being able to study the movement of the planets and the stars in the night sky. And of course, Uranus and Aries has been playing out these very difficult squares with Pluto and Capricorn over the last few years, including April's cardinal grand cross with Mars in Libra and Jupiter in Cancer. And although Jupiter, and as the month moves on, Mars move out of orb of the cardinal grand cross, we have the Sun and Mercury and Venus moving through Cancer, reactivating the T-square by opposing Pluto and squaring Uranus during July. Given that these bodies transiting Cancer are moving quickly, they do trigger some challenging days throughout the month, but it's not anywhere as intense as it was a few months ago. But it still feels like an uncomfortable amount of tension just the same. So let's look at the daily vibrational energy for the Trecena. On July 13th, 2014, we have one Muluc, or offering, which is unity experience through appreciating creation in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. And then this is the day where Mercury, which retrograded from Cancer back to Gemini, now crosses and moves back into Cancer after being in the sign for 19 days in late May and early June as part of that retrograde cycle. While in the sign of the Crab, people will be communicating and thinking more about home and family from the perspective of security. And then also on the 13th, Venus is in a trine to Mars. So from our perspective here on Earth, these planets form a 120-degree angle, which can have a variety of effects, most of which are favorable. It brings energy to be assertive without offending others, as folks appreciate directness. It brings a nice balance between your need to be an individual with your personal wants and needs and your need to relate to others. Whenever there's a contact between Venus and Mars, there's a likelihood of an aroused sex drive. People are more likely to be charming and agreeable. It brings the concern that a partner is enjoying the relationship as well, which fulfills an important requirement for a successful sexual connection. A relationship begun at this time has a good chance of lasting, but even if it's a short-term liaison, it's usually satisfying without the bitterness, any bitterness at the time of parting. And then also at that point, Mars conjuncts the north node of the moon on July 13th, which activates events that have been in flux over the last 8 months. These events are Libra themed, bringing balance and harmony through partnership. And during the last 8 months, we've had situations and events shifting back and forth. But as Mars merges with the North Node, we become clearer about our direction to take action and have a deeper level of connection with others. I'm not covering lunar activity in these reports other than new and full moons, but that information is available on the New World Birth daily Facebook posts or the blogger New World Birth blog. So the 14th, we have 2 Auk or dog duality experience through enjoying family and friends in the Tzolkin calendar. The 15th, 3 Shuin or monkey taking action through creating something new. The 16th is 4 Ebb or road stability through serving the community, while Jupiter enters Leo. That's a big change. Jupiter's been in Cancer now for a year, and now it's going to be in Leo for a year. So this brings expansion to the arts and creativity, as well as opportunities for leadership. I'd expect dramas and ambitions to get a shot in the arm when the King of the Gods enters the sign of the King of the Jungle. Grandeur, extravagant displays, boasting, personal charm, entertainment, success and creative opportunities are all themes of Jupiter in Leo. And then on the 17th, we have 5 Ben or reed or corn empowerment through maintaining the home in the Tzolkin calendar. The 18th is 6 Ish or Jaguar, being in the flow through enjoying nature, while Venus now moves through and enters into Cancer. And which this is romantic and sensitive, but also practical. Cancer is about the home and the family. Venus is about love and beauty and socializing. So it might be nice to entertain at home between the 18th and August 12th. Excuse me. And then on July 19th is 7 Men or Eagle. It's about reflection through seeing from a higher perspective. And at this point, we have Mercury in a trine to Neptune. So from our perspective here on the Earth, this is a 120-degree angle in the water signs of Cancer and Pisces. Mercury finding support from Neptune is very imaginative and creative, but also more sensitive to the world around us. This favors art, music, poetry, romantic literature, and daydreams. We'll probably hear more people talking about their fantasies and hopes for the future, as people are less interested in discussing practical matters. It's a great day for studying mysticism or spiritual subjects, as we can transcend rational thought and just know through our intuition. And then also on the 19th, the Sun is in a square to Mars. So from our perspective here on Earth, this is a 90-degree angle, which is a day when we're more conscious of ourselves and our motivations. And this could be a day where we observe serious ego conflicts between people. Folks will be looking for vulnerabilities in others, flaws in arguments, any errors which can be challenged, any chink in the armor of the other. So this is a high energy transit. So perhaps it's too high if we're not careful. So watch for signs of people becoming irritable or impatient, especially when things don't go exactly as planned. Probably the best way to avoid being assertive. It's best to avoid being assertive unless it's absolutely called for. And this is a time where people will be projecting their irritability and aggression onto others without realizing it's really originating within themselves. It's a day to be particularly careful of conflict with authority, even if the claims are legitimate. We're likely to encounter a hostile reaction during this transit. It would be good to vent this energy into any type of physical activity, which will give your aggressions a satisfactory outlet. Without any outward expression, this type of energy can lead to illness or accidents, or if projected, will attract angry and difficult people. The 20th we have is 8 Heave or wisdom, balanced through introspection, meditation, and forgiveness. And at that point, we have Saturn is turning direct. So this will be, it will take a while for it to pick up some speed. But this is a time period where we can implement a course correction regarding an obstacle that's been in our path the last few months. Saturn's forward movement can show us a new path and make us aware that we have a responsibility to work on making something better through consciousness of our ethics and motives and intention. Saturn stationing at 16 degrees has been intense for folks, with planets in the mid degrees of the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Even though the pressure will slowly dissipate, it's going to be an improvement just to get some kind of relief from Saturn retrograde. And on July 21st, it's 9 Kaban or Earth, patience experienced through gratitude for Mother Earth. And at this point, this is when Uranus is turning retrograde, which inspires people to break out of anything that confines them. The winds of change, a changing direction, will move the revolutionary energy into a more personal space until mid-December. The 22nd is 10 et snob or flint manifestation through being introspective, and at that point the sun moves into Leo. So you can see the orbit of the Earth here. We're just going to imagine that this end of the pointer is the Earth, and this is the line of sight. So at this point, we've moved along the orbit until the line of sight from the Earth has the sun against the backdrop of Leo, which is its place of rulership. So for the next month's time, we can expect more drama and creative energy. People will seem more witty, vivacious, chatty. So expect life to turn a little more entertaining when the sun shines on the king of the jungle. Also on the 22nd, Mercury is opposed by Pluto. So again, from our perspective here, at this point, Mercury's moved further along. But from this perspective here, Mercury would be at a 120-degree angle to Pluto, which is, again, it's activating that Uranus-Pluto square over the next few days. With Pluto, Mercury wants to get to the bottom of problems and relationships, or with people we encounter. Expect intellectual conflicts where people try to convince each other of their personal truths. These conflicts can become subversive in their attempts to persuade, and may result in a smoldering conflict, which plays out behind the scenes. Power plays are a strong possibility under this influence. Propaganda and indoctrination are themes, as we will likely see escalate for a day or so. The best part of this transit is to investigate hidden secret subjects, whether they're coming from our environment or aspects of ourselves. Research and puzzle solving benefit from this energetic. Just be careful of not becoming obsessed with one possibility at the detriment of everything else. And then July 23rd is 11 Kawak or storm, resolution through recognizing the gifts and adversity in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar. And then the 24th, we have 12 Ahau or sun, understanding through honoring the wisdom and memory of our ancestors. And at this point, Venus is in a trine to Neptune. So from our perspective here on Earth, again, trine is a 120-degree angle. Venus finding support from her higher octave planet of Neptune is pleasant, romantic, creative, but not necessarily good for getting things done. This is a supportive relationship between the planet of romantic love and her higher octave planet of unconditional love. This might be a time when we experience universal love through our personal relationship. This will be excellent energy for practices and studies that raise consciousness, like yoga or mysticism, spiritualism, occult metaphysics, as a way to ground otherworldly energy in the here and now. This is also very creative and imaginative energy, which seeks to and appreciates beauty. So exposure to art, music, or poetry could help renew our consciousness during this pleasant, dreamy fog of this transit. It's a good day to indulge in daydreams and fantasies. Also on the 24th, the Sun conjuncts Jupiter. So again, think of the Earth being here, and we can see the line as from our perspective in our orbit, the Sun and Jupiter are at the same degree in Leo, which is very good energy both physically and psychologically. It's very optimistic and expansive. People will be open-minded. It might be a good day to study and understand subjects that normally are beyond our understanding. The only caution I see with this transit is to avoid being arrogant, domineering, or excessive, as those are negative aspects of the day. Mostly this is very positive and promotes future growth. And Mercury, very busy on this day, because Mercury forms a square to Uranus, and it forms a trine to Jupiter. So Mercury square Uranus, again, 90-degree angle, and which brings a tension between the lower and higher minds. If you can remain flexible, this can bring a fascination with new information and experiences. Without flexibility, this could be nerve-wracking as surprises and upsets become bothersome when the day doesn't go as planned. This could bring some folks epiphanies or other lightning fast new information that, if not paid attention to, may be gone just as quick. So it might be good to have some kind of way of recording the information, whether it's a tape recorder or on your phone or whatever, as a way to capture these thoughts so that you can review them on another day. Because this really is a time for brainstorming, leave it analysis and added detail for later, as concentration is difficult under this influence. So it's not a great day to make important decisions because of the impulsivity and hasty nature of the energetic. But it does gain some balance from this Mercury trine Saturn. So, again, 120-degree angle from our perspective here on Earth. Again, these are the water signs of Cancer and Scorpio. Saturn supporting Mercury may bring our thoughts to more serious concerns. This may bring concentration and attention to detail. Be careful. This is careful energy to be methodical and painstaking. This is good for organizing your environment or your life from a conservative and practical perspective. Counsel from an elder is favored under this influence, or you may just want to be alone in your thoughts. This represents kind of almost the opposite energy of the Mercury-Uranus transit. So the 24th really could be quite unpredictable given these experiences. Now the 25th is 13 Emish, or crocodile, movement to the next stage through nurturing new beginnings. And what new beginning do we have? We have Mars moving into Scorpio. Finally, after 8 months in the sign of its detriment, Libra, Mars has found its way into the sign of its traditional rulership. Mars in Scorpio brings persistence and intensity, but also emotional sexuality. Scorpio Mars is hard driving, resourceful, determined, relentless, purpose directed. It can also be displayed as jealousy, anger, resentments, and hurt feelings. And Mars is going to connect with Saturn in August, which is going to intensify the requirements to align our actions with our responsibilities and ethics. And Mars is going to be in Scorpio until September 13th. So no matter what these energies that are affecting you during the one offering Tzolkin, take some time out to be in the flow of the planet by being in nature, watching a sunrise or a sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or just being truly present with somebody you love. Every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what the dramas that beckon to distract us. We're all giving the performance of a lifetime on the world stage. Just take some time out to observe the play as well as act your part by remembering you're a spiritual being that's having a human experience. Thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on July 26th for one Eek or Win with the Leo new moon and Mercury moving into Leo. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, or the Mayan Magics website. I encourage you to share this information as videos or text as widely as you choose. And I'm going to be discussing the metaphysics of August 2014 and providing some short 10 to 15 minute human design readings for the participants of the Earth Needs Rebels show on Truth Frequency Radio on Friday, August 1st. The show starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I come on at 1:30 and goes to 3 o'clock. And it's a great opportunity. You can either participate in the show through the chat space on Truth Frequency Radio's website, or you can connect with them and they'll call you for free anywhere on the planet. As always, I invite you to contact me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or wish to schedule a reading. I am providing readings and wish to make this service available to the greatest amount of folks. So I've created 3 options with 3 levels of compensation. And these readings are really designed to provide information to help you navigate these difficult times. At the basic level, we look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority in making life decisions based on your unique design. I include 3 months of astrological transits, often more than 3 months, that relate to your natal and progressive astrology chart, along with the human design reading at the middle level. At the top level, the human design and astrology transit readings, because we really are putting 2 readings in one here, will be recorded and sent to you as an MP3 file to be downloaded to your computer. So if you've been thinking about getting a reading, please contact me. I'd love to provide you a reading during these uncertain times. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA or connect with Skype to receive your reading. We're also accepting donations to keep these reports freely available. Great way to make a donation: get a reading. You'll get something that really will benefit you, and you'll also be helping us, keep this experience happening. As always, I am blessed that you've taken the time out to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste, in Lakesh, and look forward to connecting on the radio show or future videos or in a reading particularly. All right, peace everybody. Adios.